Sweet Baby Inc. influenced Tales of Kenzira Zhao developer begins laying off employees despite previously claiming that the boycott did not crush the game. That's right, Sweet Baby Inc., the disaster known as Sweet Baby Inc., claims another victim because this is a cancer to any game that it touches, any connection whatsoever. It is now to the point where games and game studios do not want to be connected to Sweet Baby Inc. because they understand the negative energy and the negative aura that goes along with that. And they should be aware of that because Sweet Baby Inc. does exactly what gamers think they do. This is an article that we wrote over on geeksgamers.com right after Kotaku said Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what gamers think it does, and Sweet Baby Inc. does exactly that. We have this video that we've played many times with Kim Belair, the co-founder of Sweet Baby Inc., and she said this.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups, and if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
And that is Sweet Baby Inc. right there. So Surgent Studios, the video game development company that developed Tales of Kenzira Zhao, with the help of consultancy Sweet Baby Inc., is now laying off employees. That's right. After initially reported by minimal effort, numerous Surgent Studios employees announced that they had been laid off on LinkedIn. Joe Philpott, a 3D environment artist, posted, "Unfortunately, I have been affected by the Surgent Studios, the layoffs at Surgent Studios. If you or anyone you know is looking for a 3D artist, 3D environment artist with 3+ years experience and multiple shipped projects in games and VR, I would love to talk more." And then Jordan Smee, a former technical artist at Surgent Studios, also wrote, "Well, it looks like I'm joining all the people affected by industry layoffs this year, and I am now seeking technical art and environment art positions. If anyone in my network is aware of any openings and can offer any guidance or help in getting me to my next steps, I would sincerely appreciate it." He added, "Looking to start ASAP or as close to that as possible." Listen, I am not a fan of anyone getting laid off in general. It's obviously a terrible thing. I've been laid off on jobs before. It's never fun. It's never a good thing. So I totally understand that. And I'm not actively cheering for anyone to lose their job, generally speaking. Now, I do cheer for activists to lose their jobs when they blatantly get involved in an industry and they blatantly attack whatever that audience is. When they attack the existing audience, then yes, I do think you should lose your job. But if you're just someone that's doing your job on a day-to-day basis and you're trying your best to move the company forward in your specific area, I do sympathize with people like that. I do not sympathize with people that attack the audience at all. And I don't know any of these people and what their previous history is, so I can't speak to that. But what you have to understand is that the gamers that are out there calling this bullshit out, the people that are on the front lines of calling this bullshit out, the people that are not shilling for the next product so they can get their review copies out early, those people are actually trying to make that industry better. Now, I'm not saying that we're on some crusade per se. We simply are gamers that are interested in gaming being good and not overrun by activists. It's that simple. It's that simple. I don't think of myself as anything other than a retard with a camera talking about things that I don't like within the industry, talking about things that I don't like because I've seen what happens in this industry when you can actually get people in there with passion and knowledge and a respect for the people that are buying your product. And we've gotten great things over the years in the past, but the activism has overrun this market so bad to the point where you just have dog shit all over the place, and people are not going to keep their jobs if that continues. It's just not going to happen. Surgent Studios also confirmed the layoffs, posting to X. "Unfortunately, Surgent has joined the growing number of game studios impacted by layoffs this year, with just over a dozen people affected. It's a difficult time in the games industry, but we remain incredibly proud of our team's work on Zhao and the praise it has received from critics and players alike." The company concluded, "Our focus is now on supporting those affected, continuing our work on Zhao, and looking forward to the future of the next creative project." These layoffs came in the wake of the game's director, I'm not even going to try to say his name, claiming that the game sales were fine after painting himself as a diversity victim and announcing a deep discount on the game. I haven't seen this.
So I didn't want to address this, but we're here now. Look, since the beginning of my career, there's always been someone who's made me feel like I didn't deserve the opportunity I got. From Assassin's Creed to Raised by Wolves, I've had to ignore people saying that it wasn't the work that got me the opportunities. No, it was simply because I'm black. And look, I've turned the other cheek and just kept doing my thing.
Well, you can blame that on the industry and the executives and the virtue signaling and all of that other bullshit, because they have decided to specifically focus on race and gender and sexual orientation and say, we need more diversity. We need more diversity. No, you don't. You need more qualified people. And when qualified people get into those positions, who cares what color they are? Who cares who they sleep with? Who cares about all that stuff? Your entire industry has decided that diversity is the most important fucking thing. And you brought in, reportedly, you brought in a company, Sweet Baby Inc., with their entire focus is to push diversity and bullshit like that. So if you're going to get mad, then you need to get mad at places like Sweet Baby Inc., not the fans out there.
Even when people were saying, oh, the only reason why he's been cast as father in Raised by Wolves is because the character's a service model. Some of these comments, a few of them you can just brush off. But when it's a constant barrage of them, it's exhausting. So when I look at Zhao, it's reached this fever pitch. And look, don't get me wrong, right? There has been so much amazing and beautiful support for this game.
The guy seems like a nice guy. I don't know anything about him. I'm basing this off of this right here. I've never seen this interview or this video. I've never seen this. He seems like a nice guy. He seems like he means well based on the first minute of this video. He does. He seems like he means well. But don't sit there and say that it's a constant barrage of negativity, but then say, don't get me wrong, there's been so much positivity. There clearly hasn't been, because you're focusing in on that. Because I got breaking news for you. It doesn't matter who you are. You're on the internet, you're going to get hate. That is the nature of the internet. It doesn't matter. You think I don't get hate? Of course I do. Everybody gets hate.
The fact that it has inspired so many people and touched, so many lives. It was one of our goals from the outset to have this positive impact, right? But at the same time, we are being faced with constant, targeted harassment from people who see diversity as a threat. From people who look across the vast landscape of modern media and decide that anything that doesn't speak to them or centers around them is unnecessary and inauthentic. And look, there's always a reason why diverse stories can't exist. It's always either we're doing it the wrong way, or it's just there to tick boxes. And it's just beginning to feel like there is.
That was never the case when I was growing up. There were all black movies with black directors being told from a black perspective that everybody loved, everybody enjoyed, and no one claimed it was for diversity ticking off of boxes. The reason that people say that is because the industry has literally said that that is their goal. They've said it. They have said, we need more diversity. We need more diversity to prove we're not racist. We need more female representation. We need less white dudes. They've literally fucking said it. So the criticism is not about the diversity. The criticism is about the approach to forcing diversity. Oh my God.
There's no right way. These exclusionary rules just continue to stack up, and the goalposts continue to shift until, me, my studio, people who look like us, just sit down, be quiet, and just accept the fact that you're outsiders. But I won't do that. So look, if there are people who aren't like you in a game, you know, I want you to know that that game is still for you. You know, if the characters are a different race or a different gender or a different, you know, ideology or a different perspective, that
I want you to remember that next time there's a game with all white male characters and a couple of attractive white females. I want you to remember that, because it seems like that never happens, and it seems like that can't happen. But of course, you won't be saying that if there was an all-white game come out, would you? Oh, no, you would not be saying that. Then you'd be saying this is unacceptable and we can't have that. Although, when that happens, and it's good from a different perspective, what was the movie I always talk about? The second Shaft film with Samuel L. Jackson that came out several years ago. What was it? It has like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes from the audience. Black director, all black cast. Everybody liked it. I liked it. I love that movie. It's a fantastic movie. Critics gave it like a 25%. I guess they're intimidated by black people, right? I don't know why we never hear about that movie being celebrated for the fact that it has nothing but a black cast and a black director. Why? Do you know why? Because there's language and there are messages within that movie that the narrative doesn't line up. The mainstream doesn't like those narratives because there's offensive things being said in that movie. They don't want to talk about that one.
That doesn't mean that the game isn't for you. It can still be for you.
Brie Larson told me that A Wrinkle in Time was not made for me specifically because it wasn't made for a white dude, a 40-year-old white dude. Specifically, she said that.
You know, it's an opportunity to live in rich new worlds, to explore different perspectives, you know, to explore, you know, different cultures. Like, and all the while, you're playing a decent game. These games are opportunities to experience something different, something new. You just need to be open to it. Look, games are a medium unlike any other. And, you know, in all aspects, they have this potential to have this profound impact on not only the people who make them, but who play them. Now, I really believe games are for everyone. I mean, that's why I insisted on setting Zal's cost at the price of pizza. So, look, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. So starting today on Switch, shout out to Nintendo for acting fast on this. You know, I'm lowering that bar of entry further by dropping the price of Zal to less than $15.
That's because it wasn't selling. Like, you can sit there and pretend that this is to do with like, oh, I'm just a great person, but that game would be $50, $60 if you could sell it for $50 or $60. That's the truth of the matter right there.
No, I genuinely believe in the power that games have to bring us close together, and I believe that, you know, this is, you know, just one way that I can show you how serious I am about this. Look, games are for everyone. Like, diverse games, then they're not about taking something away from you.
Even Donald Trump supporters, I would love to ask that guy this question. Even Trump supporters, even the MAGA crowd, are games for them as well. How about those toxic COD lobby gamers? Is it for them?
They're about adding something in, because there's room for all of us. Now look, I'm working with the team in bringing this discount to all platforms, and it's going to start from now to the end of June, because, you know, it just means so much to me, man. Look, let me just take this opportunity as well to actually speak to the developers out there that have actually dedicated themselves to making games that speak to different audiences and tell, you know, personal stories that uplift the marginalized and underrepresented. You know, your work is so important today. And you know, whether, you know, you realize it or not, you are actually setting an example for the next generation of developers, of creators, of artists. Just take that in. Keep doing what you're doing.
I will continue. Like, he does seem like a nice guy, but he repeats the NPC talking points to the point where it's cringe beyond belief. He would later clarify his video in a thread on X. In the thread, he specifically addressed why he was discounting the game as well as the game sales. First, he offered an explanation for why he was discounting the game. Why drop the price of your game? It's our way of making a statement in the face of targeted harassment. When we hear the word diversity, we always think about race or gender or as the only factors. This is a very narrow and honestly uneducated interpretation of what diversity can mean. Diversity is also incredibly closely linked to our socioeconomic positions and the issues we face globally. Diversity can also encompass people who struggle, and with the pressure of ensuring that there is enough food on the table, a roof over families' heads, and all of the elements that are vital to day-to-day comfort and survival, many of which people take for granted because they haven't had similar challenges, he elaborated. As a business owner, at this stage, the pricing of Zao is the only aspect I can use to take action. He concluded, even this is a difficult thing to orchestrate, especially while being respectful to our partners. Lowering the price of the game is much easier said than done. It's a miracle we were able to action this so soon, and largely thanks to the efforts and support of many people on our side and the publishing side. Next, he addressed the game sales. The game isn't selling well. Also false. I've addressed this on my AMA Reddit. The numbers some are circulating are a fraction of what our actual players ship, and they're being shared in bad faith by people who are wanting to provide proof that their harassment campaign has been successful in punishing us for daring to take up space. As for his comments on Reddit, he stated, it was a busy time. We did good, though. It helps being on multiple platforms. It's all about longevity and continuing forward. The more people share and talk about the game, the more it snowballs. So yeah, we hope to continue building. Here's John Trent, who says, if it's false, show sales numbers. This is not addressing it. He's not going to address it. Clearly, the game sales were not fine given the layoffs, and it was not surprising given Steam DB reported the game had almost no players playing the game. In fact, the game's peak concurrent players peaked in April when the game was released at 287 players. Even with Salim attempting to paint himself as a victim in June, it did not significantly move the needle when it came to an increase in players. The peak concurrent in June only hit 47. In the past 24 hours, the peak was only at 28 players. My goodness, the spin is off the charts right now. The game sales were clearly affected by the game being added to the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam curator list that effectively acted as a boycott list for all games that Sweet Baby Inc. has worked on. The game was added to the curator list after Sweet Baby Inc. announced in January that it had worked on the game. The company wrote, our friends at Surgent Studios dropped the trailer for their upcoming action-adventure platformer, Tales of Kazira Zao. We had the utmost pleasure of working with, Abu Bakr Salim and the Surgent team at this poignant stage, which has been heavily inspired and influenced by Bantu mythology. We know you're going to love it as much as we do. In Tales of Kazira, join Zao as he journeys through the world of Kazira and to get his Baba back, joined by an unlikely companion, the God of Death, the company added. Furthermore, Salim was a partner with the founders of Sweet Baby Inc., David Bedard and Kim Belair, alongside Sweet Baby Inc. employee and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League writer Amy Lee Shaw in a company named Bebe Secure Ltd. Or Sweet Baby Ltd. Salim resigned from his role as director of the company on March 12, 2024, after being appointed on April 27, 2023. This is a wild story, man. Ultimately, what it comes down to is Sweet Baby Inc. Sweet Baby Inc. is destroying everything that they touch. Every game they touch, everything that they get involved in, anything that they promote, they are destroying all of it. And that's how it should be, because Sweet Baby Inc. is a trash consultancy company. And I'm glad that no one trusts them at all. So this is a really good breakdown from that Park Place. I really appreciate it. Good work, John F. Tremp and the Park Place crew. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and we will talk to you later.